Hi, I'm Anna. Welcome back to Books on the Go. I'm here with a tag video today and it's Unhaul My TBR, which was started by Emma at Drinking by My Shelf. And the idea is to move some of the books off my TBR shelf that I just won't read and make some space because we have a little issue at the moment. And it's a really fun tag. The idea is that I show you some books that I think I need to move on and to another home, and you let me know if you did not like them and that you agree they need to go. Don't say if you liked it, but just if you didn't like it and you think it can go. That will help me make the decision. So the first one is Gilead by Marilynne Robinson, and I have to say I haven't given this a proper chance, so this might need to stay for a little bit longer, but I bought it because Jack was released last year, late last year was it, and this is a sort of a modern classic, and everybody seems to love Marilynne Robinson, and I hadn't read it yet, so I said to Annie I must read Gilead. And when I started it, it was written in the second person, and that immediately put me off. And then I sort of gave it a page or two, couldn't get into it, and then I read that it was all very religion based. And indeed, it's the main character is a reverend writing a letter to his son, and none of that appealed to me, and I'm not sure whether to keep going. So I'm thinking it might just not be for me, but not sure because it is a modern classic. Should I give it another chance? So that's Gilead. The next one is Idaho by Emily Ruskovich, and this was recommended by Jason at Imprints, and indeed has had other rave reviews when it came out, and I just hadn't got to it. It is dark, it is, I think, quite slow moving. I've had a look and the writing is beautiful, but I just don't know, do I need to read it? Because it is bleak. Could I perhaps give this one a miss? But let me know. That's Idaho. It might just need to move on. It's been there for over a year now. This one is The Sixth Extinction. I think I do need to read this. Why am I unhauling this one? But it won the 2015 Pulitzer Prize for Nonfiction. It's by Elizabeth Kolbert. It's about the mass extinctions on Earth, and I think I do need to read it because it covers the Central America, the Andes, the Great Barrier Reef, and it talks about a dozen species who may become extinct. Do you think? Is that what's going to happen to them? So I think I might need to read this. It's even more sort of pressing now that we've had the bushfires in Australia and we have lost a lot of species. I don't know how many, but this was published in 2014. I think I will need to read it. So the next one is The Last Temptation by Nikos Kazantzakis. He wrote Zorba the Greek, and this has been on our shelves. I don't think I even bought it. I think Jason had it perhaps, but this has been on our shelves for years and years, and I've never read it. It's described on the blurb as a classic novel that was blacklisted by the Vatican in 1954, was labelled heretical, blasphemous, and also a masterpiece. And it's about Christ, and his Christ is epic and wholly original. And the Sunday Telegraph describes it as a magnificent novel and that has the vivid details of a Bruegel painting. And then it was made into a movie by Martin Scorsese, which I haven't seen either. Is it a must read, or can I move it on? Am I ever going to read it? That's the question. That's on the potential unhaul list. The next one is, I'm not unhauling it as in getting rid of it, but I might move it off my TBR shelf. That's Benjamin Franklin by Walter Isaacson, and this is a beautiful folio edition. I've just read Walter Isaacson's Leonardo da Vinci, which I found good and readable and engaging, but very comprehensive and detailed and quite a long read, and I just wonder if I need to read this about Benjamin Franklin. He sounds like a polymath and a very accomplished man in his time, and so I feel confident that Walter Isaacson has done a really good job, and it would be quite readable. But should I read it or can we just move it into the other room? I'm not sure. So that's Benjamin Franklin. And then we have David Attenborough, Adventures of a Young Naturalist, the Zoo Quest Expeditions. And this, again, I think would be a beautiful book, and I don't know that I want to sort of get rid of it or just move it somewhere else, because I really love David Attenborough, but I'm not so much into animals and zoo expeditions that I need to read a book about it, no matter who it's by, really. Let me know if you happen to have read it. That's the lovely David Attenborough, but maybe he could go into another room. Now, The Library of Ice by Nancy Campbell, Readings from a Cold Climate. I think this was a gift maybe from Jason, and I haven't read it. I haven't felt any need to read it. It doesn't hold any particular appeal to me, except and it's about tracks on the ice, the disappearance of tracks on the ice, which is an indication of time passing. When the last of the ice has melted, the records of the past will be the least of our concerns. So it's travel writing, but ice with an ice theme. That hasn't appealed to me. But the author, Nancy Campbell, sounds really interesting and is a dazzling new poet, according to Carol Ann Duffy. She's been a Marie Claire Wonder Woman, a Hawthornden Fellow, and visual and performing artist at Oxford University, artist in residence at Oxford University. And I just think she sounds so interesting that makes me think about reading it. But other than that, the subject matter is not particularly, doesn't especially appeal. So let me know. The Library of Ice. Then we have, I do want to read this, The Invention of Russia, The Journey from Gorbachev's Freedom to Putin's War by Arkady Ostrovsky. So I do want to read it, but so it's a non-fiction about Russia since Soviet rule and then becoming a threat to the West. Why did the people who rejected communist ideology come to accept state propaganda? But it's quite long and small type, and it just seems quite dense, and I'm not sure that I need to read it. It was shortlisted for the Orwell Prize in 2016. What do you think? Should I go on a Russia binge? That's The Invention of Russia. Then we have a short book. This wouldn't take long to read. It's A Week at the Airport by Alain de Botton, and I love him. I've read most of his work. There's something relaxing about reading his work somehow. But this one, I feel like I don't need to read it. So let me know. Do I? It's a Heathrow diary. It actually seems quite absurd to read it at the moment when we're not travelling anywhere, but maybe it will seem quite dated. The last one on my Unhaul My TBR list is Paul Auster Winter Journal, and apart from the fact that I don't like the cover, I've read some of Paul Auster's earlier work and quite liked it, but wasn't tempted to read 4321, I think was his later one that was quite long. And this one is written in the second person, and I think it's meant to be a diary, but I think it's a memoir. It's written in the second person. It just doesn't appeal to me. Let me know. Should I read this? Can we let it go? That is Winter Journal. So please help me out. I'm looking forward to donating at least some of these to the library, and I'm sure someone will really enjoy them and can lighten up my shelf. So let me know what you think. I hope you're well, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.